Greetings. Uh, let's see. Today, I talked about last time quitting playing football, having to go through the interaction of facing up to a head coach in a very oppressive athletic system. Now, I was cut loose from that, and now I'm out trying to play basketball. I started to formulate a plan because I saw a burning need and desire to get out of Pensacola. Um, my sister was off at college, um, uh, and I just wanted to desperately get out. I wasn't that intelligent. Arithmetic and grammar were my weaknesses, and they still are today. But I'm smart enough now to know that they're my weaknesses, and I either get people to help me or use advanced tools to help myself in those situations. Um, what started to happen was I formulated a plan for an occupation or a job to get out, which was the military. My father was in the Air Force, so I was like, I'll just go be in the Army. I wanted to drive a tank. I was fascinated by the M1 Abrams tank until I got to meet someone in the Army, and they said, you'll never be a tanker. I'm like, well, why not? And they said, you'll never fit in the tank. Because at that time I was about 6'5". And like, it kind of dashed my hopes because I had these fantasies of being G.I. Joe. Now understanding the complexities and the realities of war, and now having worked with a tank commander, telling me what an actual tank life was like, I am super glad I did not go that way. So I geared myself up to be to start heading toward the Air Force. Simultaneously, I was going to basketball camps over the summers, getting exposure over and over again, not realizing coaches and scouts were watching me. And my basketball coach came up to me maybe my 11th grade year, going into my 11th grade year, and he said, you know you can get a scholarship for playing basketball. I'm not good. I'm mediocre at best. I don't know what I'm doing. And he kept saying it over and over again, and then I believed it. And once I believed it, everything changed. My focus changed. I would go out to the base and play basketball now with a vengeance. I was trying so hard. I never developed a shot, but I was able to develop shot blocking, rebounding, defensive skills, and being able to dunk from anywhere. As long as I got the ball in my hand and I was within the free throw line or from the free throw line, I felt like I could dunk the basketball. And it worked. And I kept getting more and more exposure at these camps. And more of these letters started coming to my house, started coming to the athletic department about how we're watching you, we would like you to come visit at our school. And I could not believe it. And coaches started calling, and I was like, wow, coaches started coming to see me play. I could not believe my eyes. And it was wonderful. Confidence boosting. Went into my senior year and had schools to choose from, and I picked Stetson University, and I was so proud of that. My mom was so happy for me. My father knew nothing of it because remember, he'd never seen me play sports. Um, I thrived on embarrassing kids that I struggled with. In the paint, my back to the basket, I could do so much more now because I had a small inside game. I loved basketball. I loved watching it. I loved competing. I loved everything about it. The one thing I didn't love was actual in-my-face competition. I would shrink from that, which made no sense because I was playing against grown men on the weekend, and then I would go play against my peers and recoil at the fact that somebody could do something that I could do. And I did not know about the competitive spirit and how to raise up in the face of true competition. But I enjoyed what I did. Really loved my senior year of high school. Just thoroughly loved the education, loved the camaraderie on the team, loved being. I didn't fit into any category because I was too much of a nerd. That was the other thing. I was a huge dork. I loved anime, video games, cartoons. Still had toys nobody knew about, but then I had Jordan posters and cool shoes, fly gear, loved bass. I had a little system. I'll never forget this. I had a JVC system with a subwoofer, and you couldn't tell me nothing. My first CDs I bought were the Flamingos, and was it the Flamingos? They sang "I Only Have Eyes for You" because I love that song, and doo-wop, old school doo-wop, and Shaquille O'Neal, Foo Schnickens. he had a like a rap. He was a rapper, and I liked him. And I would play those CDs to death. I really enjoyed my time. My mother was my biggest fan. She would call me out all the time because after a win or after a loss, some of the biggest things I didn't realize was I was just out there competing, trying my best to compete. I had no clue what the score was. I had no clue about time management, no spatial awareness as far as being a court general, learning how to have some type of actual competitive game plan to neutralize or do this or do that. None of that was it was all pure drive, instinct, and reaction. It was all very, very basic. Now I look back at it, and later in my college career, I got to play intramural ball, and it was a completely different story. I was able to be a general and take a group of people who didn't have the confidence nor the skill and marry that with my confidence and skill and experience, and we never lost, ever. And I loved that. But my mom would call me out all the time because she was never on my side. And I'd foul out of a game or something bad would happen or something, and I'd be stuck on it. And she was always on the referee's side. I used to hate it. So I would be so mad at her, and she would get mad at me for dunking the basketball. And then she also would get very mad at me because apparently during the basketball games, I had a terrible mouth, very, very aggressive. And that was from football, but I had no clue what I was saying, and she could hear what I was saying, and it was terrible. And then also too, when I was on the way home, I would replay the whole game in my mind, like I was rewatching it, and she hated that. She's like, "Stop it!" I did that. I started that when I was in 8th grade. The swim meets and everything else like that, because I was a terrible swimmer. I swam with 50 breast, and I was terrible at it, and I was so tired of losing. and I would think about every stroke, and she tried to snap me out of it. But I won my last swim meet. I won my event by a huge margin. I didn't have my glasses on when I swam, and when I was so far ahead, I was getting out of the pool before anyone else. I thought I was last. And I was getting out of the pool thinking to myself, once again, my last race, it was an embarrassment because I couldn't put it all together. Mind you, I can't float. It is a real thing. People cannot float. Black people can't float. Ask David Goggins. Some black people cannot float. It has to do with bone mass and muscle density, et cetera, et cetera. And I was this big around, so it didn't help. None of that helped. But I still tried my butt off. But she would always chastise me about living the thing over and over again in my mind. But she was my biggest fan, and it was something that I truly treasured her commitment. She would be in the back of the building in the school at night in the dark, waiting for me to just come out of that door. Practice went in at 8. I come out at 8:15, 8:30. She'd worked all day, have to do dishes or something like that, or laundry. So my deal was I definitely would do everything I could. I could not get in her way. I could not be a problem for her. And my chores were my chores. And I did the work. My grades were great. I sat in front of the class. And that's where I developed the love for oldies music, because I hated oldies music. So I had this little radio from the 70s, and I would turn it on in the living room, or no, the dining room, and I set all my stuff up, all my papers, everything I had to read and everything I had to study, all my homework, and I would set it up, turn on oldies music, and the songs would drive me so crazy that would keep me awake. And I would be in there till 9, 10 o'clock, however long it took, just writing, studying, whatever I had to do. And it was beautiful. And little did I know those songs were becoming ingrained in me. And I really loved the songs because the songs were passionate. The songs resonated with me because those songs at that time, from the late 50s, early 60s, late 60s, mid to late 70s, were mostly purpose driven. They were driven by war, change in the social environment. They were driven by love. They weren't bothered by distractions that we have now. And there was so much passion and soul in the music, and it came out when they would sing. And I loved it. There's so much creativity. The sound was so rich. It was so fluid. It was so dynamic. I loved that. Not realizing I loved it. And to this day, you put Peter, Paul, Mary on, Stones, the Beatles, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, anything from Motown, Diana Ross, Gladys Knight, love me some Marvin Gaye. But the one that I absolutely, Sam Cooke. If you ever get a chance, check him out. Sam Cooke is amazing. The Platters, just what was it? Just so many different artists, so many different genres, and I enjoy them all. And I have a lot of them on my playlist. The Animals. Oh, House of the Rising Sun, We Got to Get Out of This Place, Creedence Clearwater Revival, all the anthems of Vietnam. Oh, buddy, it's just pure music, and I love that. Inspired music. Fortunate Son, Free Bird. It's just beautiful music, in my opinion. That's enough for today, and I'll see you next time. Take care.